Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. On today's video, we are going to have a first introduction to Microsoft Excel. This video is for people that have limited to no experience when it comes to Microsoft Excel. Therefore, I'm going to take things slowly, start by showing you a small overview of how Microsoft Excel works and some basic functionality when it comes to first-time users. This is the first video of a Microsoft Excel tutorial series that aims to take you from a beginner's level and help you become an advanced user. Simultaneously, we will be exploring the rest of the Microsoft Excel apps, the equivalent Google Workspace suite, along with other note-taking and productivity software. If this is something that interests you, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications button on, and let's get started. The first thing we see when we open Microsoft Excel is this page where we can create a new file and open pre-existing files. If there are any files you have worked with in the past, they will show up over here. You can also pin your most used files that will make them show up on the top for quicker access. On the bottom left of the screen, you can find account and option settings, while on the top you can see the blank workbook, which is what we will mainly work with, along with a great amount of templates. If you press at More Templates, you can see that Microsoft Excel provides a vast number of them. Practically everything you need, or you didn't even know that you needed, is going to be here. How to get your finances under control, how to prepare a party, budgeting tools, calorie intake template, schedules. Anything that requires any sort of planning will be here. You can look for anything on the search bar, for example, training, and here is a schedule, a fitness tracker, event schedule, and exercise planner. You can play around with different searching terms to see what happens. However, since this is a beginner's tutorial and some of the templates might be a bit confusing, we will start with a blank workbook and work our way up to templates and advanced projects. One more note here is that I'm using Microsoft Office 365, yet there are not major differences between recent versions. If I show something on this video that does not exist on your Excel, write it down in the comments and I will try to help you there. We have opened the blank workbook and what we can see on top is what we call the ribbon. The ribbon has several tabs: Home, Insert, Page Layout, etc. The File tab leads you to the Backstage view, which is the page we saw when we first opened Excel, along with extra options for saving your file, printing, or exporting. We press back to return to our workbook. In each tab of the ribbon, we can see different groups that are named according to their functionality. For example, we have clipboard, font, alignment, and so on. Each group has its own features, and a great tip here is that if you're not exactly sure what each feature does, you can hover over it with your mouse and a pop-up explanation window will show up. In this case, it says Fill Color. Color the background of cells to make them stand out. For most of the features, there is a simple explanation on what you can use them for. Moreover, on the bottom right of some groups, there is this icon that expands the number of options the group is giving you. If we take a look at the font group, we can see that it provides a basic selection of options, but if we press the bottom right icon, the entire selection of font options will show up. The tabs on this window will correspond to the groups over here, which makes it convenient to move around. For example, if we go to the number, we will get the full selection of the formatting we can do to the cells. It has options like time, different number formats, or different formats for dates. Moving on, if you're working on a small monitor, the ribbon tends to take quite a bit of vertical space. That's why on the bottom right of the ribbon, you can find a small arrow button which collapses it and gives you more space to work with. If you press on any of the tabs, the ribbon will show up, and if you click on any of the cells, the ribbon will disappear. If you want to pin the ribbon again, you press on any tab and go back to the bottom right arrow that collapsed it in the beginning, which is now going to pin it instead. You can also do that by pressing Ctrl F1 to either collapse it or pin it back. Below the ribbon, we have the Workspace. It is entirely made of cells that are divided into many rows and columns. The columns are identified by letters, and each worksheet has a total of 16,384 columns, which sounds crazy, right? However, things escalate when we start talking about the rows. The rows are identified by numbers, and each worksheet has a total of 1,048,576 rows, which is the first step of what makes Microsoft Excel such a powerful tool. As I just mentioned, the columns are identified by letters and the rows by numbers. This identification is highly important because we can use it to pinpoint and direct people and formulas to specific cells. We can think of it in a way that the numbers and the rows work as the coordinates we need to pinpoint the exact cell we want. For example, in order to name this cell, we are going to say that this is the cell D, since it is in column D, 11, since the corresponding row is the number 11. This is the cell F, 8. In case you feel confused about it, there is a very nice looking name box in between the workspace and the ribbon on the top left over here. For every cell you press, the name box will show you the coordinates straight away. One more thing you can do with the name box is that if you're working with a big Excel file with a lot of data, scrolling can be difficult. You can just click on the name box and write the coordinates of the cell you want to find. I want to go to the cell AZ2. Press Enter, and it takes you directly to the cell you requested. The name box is both a search bar and an indicator of your selected cell's coordinates. The big bar next to the name box is the formula bar, and it is going to become your best friend when it comes to working with Microsoft Excel. It both helps you to navigate formulas and it shows the formula hidden behind a specific cell. Even if there is an in-depth video about formulas coming, which will start with the basics and take it one step at a time, I can give you a quick example right now. But in order to do that, we will need some data. Before we start, I will need to note here that during this video, whenever I mention a keyboard shortcut, an image will pop up along with a corresponding one for Mac computers. However, if I mention buttons like F1, F2, etc., and when you press them, you get functions like sound decrease, brightness decrease, you will have to also press the button Fn. Let's start by creating a personal costs file where we write down our daily expenses. Firstly, we will need to get some information in our workspace. Normally, we will use the first row to write the titles of our data. In order to type on the cell, all we need to do is select it with the mouse and start typing. For example, date. In here, if I want to go to the next cell on the right, I can either move with my mouse and press on it, or instead I can press Tab. If I want to move on the cell to the left, I can press Shift and Tab. If from the cell that I am, I want to move down, I press Enter, or if I want to move up, I press Shift and Enter. In general, using keyboard shortcuts is something that can come pretty handy and can give a nice and quick flow when it comes to working with Excel. There are shortcuts that I use every single day, and some of them that I do not. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do an all shortcuts video. Moving forward, what we need is date, category, description, in order to remember a specific expense, and amount. The first functionality of the cells is that you can resize them as you see fit. You can make them very big and small, and you can get the height up and down. Or if, let's say, it looked like this and this, it doesn't look good. There is a quick fix. If I want to quickly resize one cell, I come to the right hand of where the column letter is shown. I see where my cursor changes shape and turns into a double-sided arrow symbol, and I double click. The cell will instantly transform to accommodate the size of the text written in it. If I want to do this for multiple cells, all I need to do is choose them from the top and double click in the right side of one of them as before, and all of them will change according to the text written in them. The first row contains the titles, so let's highlight them. I select the cell A1, and while on the Home tab, I can go to the Fonts group, up on the ribbon, and press on the buttons that will bold and underline my text. There are also pre-selected styles in here, and we can choose this blue one. But now we need to make it bold and underlined again. Since I only did that to one cell, I will need to find a quick way to replicate everything to the rest. We can do this by selecting the format while having all the cells chosen already, or we can use the format painter to copy just the format of one cell to the rest. I can select the cell whose format I want to replicate, and while we are still on the Home tab, we can press on the format painter that is located in the clipboard group on the left. And then I press the cell that I want to paste the formatting to. If I want to do this for multiple cells, I can either choose the original cell again, select the format painter, and then click and drag in order to capture all the cells that I want. Or I can double click the format painter and then I can paste the formatting to multiple cells in case it was one here and one there. Once I'm done, I press escape. Let's add some more expenses. For this video, I will use the currency euro, and when it comes to date, I will use the year, month, date format. Let's start with the date 2021-06-12. So on the 12th of June of 2021, as we can see, I wrote the date a certain way, but Excel changed it. In order to fix this, I can come up to the number group in the Home tab, choose date, and it provides short date and long date. Since I do not like the preset format, I go to more number formats option, and I will choose my preferred format. So on the 12th of June, I bought a cup of coffee. I can have a category called cafe. On description, I will write takeaway coffee, and the coffee costs 3.5, and we change the currency into euros, 3.5 euros. Now that I have some more text, I can resize my columns by selecting them all and double clicking like I did before. Let's add some more expenses. I did some shopping, office clothes, and I spent 40 euros. As you can see, just because I made the cell above into euros, it doesn't mean that the rest of the cells will be in euros as well. One way I can fix this and make the format on the column permanent is by using the format painter again and choose the entire column, and then I can quickly fix my title as well. Now that I have some data in, it is time to start working with formulas. In order to let Excel know that you are making calculation or that you're typing a formula, you need to start by typing one of the following symbols. You can start by typing equal, and here you can see that if I press any letter, it will show all the formulas that start with the letter I typed. The next symbol is plus, and again, you can press a number or a formula to initiate a calculation, or you can type minus and it does the same thing. However, it is good to keep in mind that the minus symbol will turn your calculation negative. For example, if I do minus 10 plus 2, it will give me a minus 8. So I would suggest to stay away from the minus unless you want to turn something negative straight away. To get back to my point about formula bars, you can choose the cell that you want to do the calculation, go up to the formula bar, type equal, and as I'm typing letters, it will show me the corresponding formulas. For example, average. And it shows all the options I have to calculate the average. And then I navigate with the arrows and go up and down and press the tab button to choose the one I want. For example, I want the first one. I press tab and it initiates the formula. If you want to type a formula, what you do is that you type the name of it, average, sum, VLOOKUP, and then you need to open a parenthesis. As you can see here, a pop-up window came up where it is guiding you on how you need to fill out the formula. If this pop-up is not helping you enough, you can press the formula button next to the formula bar and a window will show up with full instructions. For example, returns the average arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can be numbers or names, arrays or references that contain numbers. So what I can type here is numbers. For example, I want the average of 5 and 10. I press enter and it shows that it is 7.5. I press again, and instead of this, I want to get the average of rent, insurance, and what I can also do is come to my data, click and drag to select multiple numbers, then press OK, and the average of all my numbers is 119 euros. One more thing to keep in mind is that the cell shows 119 euros, and if I press on the cell and look at the formula bar, I can see the formula that is hiding behind and the cell the calculation contains. If I press on the formula bar, Excel is going to color the corresponding cells to help me track down much easier which numbers I have used for this formula, which is very convenient when it comes to complex formulas. Moving on, if I want to change part of what I have written on a cell, for example, here I want to say that I had coffee with Helen instead, but if I just click on a cell and start typing, the entire text will be deleted. If I want to take that back and I'm still on the cell editing, I can press escape and it goes back to its previous state. If I want to edit only part of the cell, I can double click on it. I can take the cursor that appeared anywhere I want with my mouse or the keyboard arrows and change my text to Helen and press enter. Another way is to click on the cell and go up to the formula bar, click on it and edit what I want, and I want Helen. The third way I can do this is by clicking on the cell I want to edit and press the F2 key, which shows the cursor straight away, and I can start editing directly. Let's double click the column again to readjust the width. The next thing I can do with cells is that we can move columns and rows around. How we can do that is by choosing an entire column. Let's say I want to take the column description and put it before the column category. What I can do is that I can press up on the column letter, then press right click and cut or Control X. At this point, if I want to undo the cut, I press escape. But after I cut, I choose the column B up to where the column letter is, press right click and insert. What will happen here is that the column B will move to the right and the column I cut will be pasting on this position. One more way I can change the column's position is by going between the letter of the column and the first row, exactly where the cursor changes shape and becomes these 4 arrows. I press shift click and I can drag it to the position that I want. It is helpful to use the green line in order to reposition the column correctly. If we want to insert a new row, we can right-click on the row number below the position we want to insert our new one, and then we select Insert. The same applies for columns as well. On this new row, I want to write a title, June, July expenses, and then I want to make the title look nice. What I can do is, first of all, I can go to the cell below and use the Format Painter again to replicate the format of my title, and then I want it to be one unified cell in the middle. To do that, I am going to choose the length I want my title to extend to by clicking and dragging. Then I go to my ribbon on the Home tab under the Alignment group, press on the arrow next to the Merge and Center to see all of my options in case one of the other options was pre-selected, but I will choose the Merge and Center. What it does is that it makes all the cells into one and puts my text in the middle, which made my title look prettier. For the next part, I will need more data, so I will just copy-paste a bunch of them below. If I have a lot of data and I want to move quickly to the end of it, I can do 2 things. Number 1, if I just want to move to the bottom without selecting the entire column, I can press Ctrl down and it takes me to the bottom if all of the rows in the column are filled. I can also press Ctrl up to go all the way to the top again. However, on the description column, I have blank cells. By pressing Ctrl down, it will move to the last written cell before an empty cell, and then I can press Ctrl down again and again to reach the bottom. This only works smoothly if all of the cells have some sort of text in them, or it is a good indicator to figure out quickly whether I have blank cells or not. If I want to do the same thing while selecting all the cells at the same time, I can press Ctrl-Shift-Down, and then if I want to also go to the right, I can press Ctrl-Shift-Right to select my entire table, which, depending on the size of your data, it can be a much easier alternative to click and dragging to select the entire table. This was the first video. Thank you all for watching. I hope it gave you a nice overview of Microsoft Excel. If you found this video helpful, you can press the like button and subscribe if you are interested in similar content. Thank you again for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!